Do you own a Karcher K4 pressure washer or a similar model and really struggle with the hose? Well, this is the video for you as we are going to upgrade the hose on mine today. Now, my Karcher K4 pressure control pressure washer is probably 6 or 7 year old now, and the unit itself has given us no problems whatsoever. My big gripe is the hose. Now, the current version has got a grey looking hose when I've looked on the website. The unit is now about just over £200. See, it's got a grey hose. Now, hopefully the one they're selling with it now is a lot better, but I'll show you what my gripe with this one is. So when you pull the hose out, it doesn't look too bad. Kind of get it out, but the problem is when you're walking around the car, washing the car, when you come back, it very easily curls up on itself, and it's a few times it's curled up and hit the side of the car. The other problem I've got is this is just over 7 meters long, and now my drive is a lot bigger. So the one I've went for has got a 15 meter hose on. I'm going to do a little test now just to see what it's like with this length of hose on, you know, squirting the water out, and then we'll try it again with the longer hose on and see if that makes any difference to the performance. Right, this is the standard hose. And I'm full pressure. Right, well, if you've watched my garage tour video, which is linked in the description down below, you will have seen me show this when I was doing my walk around, as that has been the plan for a while to get this connected up. So just to go through it again, we've got a bag with a handle in, a few bits and pieces, nuts and bolts. We've got the hose that connects the pressure washer to the reel, and then we have the main lump of hose that goes on the reel, and the lance will connect to the end. Now, this was bought off Amazon as a set, basically 15 meter hose, the reel, everything you need, and it has got the proper Karcher ends to fit the machine and to fit the Karcher lance. Now, I might change the lance out at some point in the future, but just to keep it as it is for now, I'm going to use this pipe and the Karcher lance. So I suppose the plan is to mount this on the wall, but because I want to pull the hose off that way and out onto the drive, putting that on the wall there is going to make that quite difficult. So I've come up with a plan of boxing the side of this shelving unit in and then mounting it onto there, and then at least I'm kind of pulling it out in the right sort of direction. So what I mean by box it in true Blue Peter style, here's one I made earlier. The plan is going to be to attach this to the side of there and then mount the reel to that. And that is the panel fitted. Oh, I just love it when I've got screws and nuts already in my little boxes. I don't need to buy any. But basically, I've just put 6 to the top, to the middle, and to the bottom. And they are just little bolts that go through with nuts on the inside there. And so that is ready to mount the reel. Well, I've just been having a bit of luck in terms of, do I want to mount it that way or that way? Now, the handle mounts on this side, but I just think it'll look tidier, just because if I put it up that way, the hose to the reel is going to be coming off this side, and then you're going to see the hose coming out of there, attaching to there. But if it goes on that way, all the hoses are on the inside of the wall, so it'll just look a bit tidier. Now, I think I should still be all right for clearance on the inside for the handle. And I mean, to be honest, it's going to have the hose on the reel the majority of the time. So it's only going to be a little bit awkward when you're reeling it back in after you've used it. But I think just aesthetically, it's going to look better mounted that way. Right, we'll get these 4 holes drilled. And I've also managed to find some more spare nuts and bolts. And there it is, mounted. How secure that is going to be mind, but we'll put the handle on. And that is the handle fit, which I think that'll be all right. I think get clearance there. And like I say, I think that looks much tidier with the gubbins on the other side. Right, well, next up, we're going to attach this hose. Now, this is the hose that is going to go from the pressure washer up to the hose reel. Now, this is the end that goes onto the hose reel, which I think is a kind of fairly standard pressure washer. I believe it's 22mm. I'll put that on the screen if I'm wrong in saying that. And that connects onto, come on, move, onto here. So we'll get that connected up now. Should be a fairly straightforward connection, this. Get that screwed on. Just give that a little nip with a set of grips. Give that a little nip with these. Should do. Right, so next up is attaching the main length of hose onto the reel. Now this it's basically hydraulic hose of some description, and it's got 3/8 ends on, although it's more like quarter hose, but 3/8 BSP end on this end. This is a male, and on this end here is a 3/8 female. Now this, to be honest, at this end could do with a 90 on, just so when the hose attaches onto it, it would make it a bit easier, but it's certainly not going to stop work. So I'll feed this through here. Is there a good way and a not so good way for this or not? God damn it. Well, that is the hose on there. So now we just need to connect up at this end. Right, well, we need to remove the old hose. Now, on the Karcher K4, I'll shove that out the way. You just pull this clip out here. You pull it right out. And then that just unclips from there. Now, you can see that is the kind of the Karcher type fitting, which is the same as what's on our new pipe. So, I'll just pull that out of there. No, probably want to. Is it good? Would that feed through there? Would it? No chance. Right, it's just gonna have to go direct into the back. Oh, it will only go in one way. This, and then you simply put your clip back on. That stops it falling out. Right, that's that bit done. So that's how we are looking. Do with a bit of a clean up, that. But anyway, before I get too excited, right, I'll just pull that back out a bit so I can see all the pipes. Right, we'll get the lance connected up now. Now I have got a slight concern here regarding the Karcher lance and this rubber bit on here. But we shall see. Again, there is like a, it's because it's got two flats on, there's only one way or two ways that it fits in. But I think I might have some, yeah, there's no way, see that? There's no way that's got to push into about there. And with that rubber sheathing on, I can't even get it in at all. Yeah, not ideal. So we're gonna have to try and get this off. Right, there we go. So I've just pulled the sheathing off the ferrule. Now that should, it's a shame because that's a decent bit of protection on there, but now should hopefully be able to get this to enter into the lance now. Yep, clicked in, no problem. Now what I'll do is push that into there. It might not stay, but hey, it can stay. Nah, it's just gonna fall straight out, but I'll see if I can figure out a way to get that to stay in there. If not, I'll just take it off. But right, I'm itching to test this out to see if it works. So just as a comparison from, you know, the old hose lengthwise, tell you what I'll do. Hook that round there. Stay. So that's where the old hose reaches. And as you can see, way over here, and that's still not fully out, but you get the message. And if you look as well, that hose is not lifting up on itself or folding back on itself or anything like that. Right, so what I'll do now is I shall turn the water on and we'll make sure we haven't got any leaks and test what if the pressure feels any different now it's being run through a much longer hose. Power on. It sounds like we've got water there. Ah, well that's not so good. Why is that leaking like that? Well, to be honest, I'm not really sure why that's leaking. So just, obviously this is the original end, the original hose, and obviously my new one. I'm just kind of comparing the dimensions and stuff. The only thing that looks a little bit different is the actual O-ring. The O-ring looks a bit on the small side on the new pipe. So I might just swap the O-ring and see if that makes any difference. Yeah, well, you can clearly see, you'll probably not be able to see it on the camera, but the O-ring on the original hose is definitely bigger. So we'll just put that on and try it. Now my concern is, what's the O-ring like on the other end though? Could it be something as straightforward as the O-ring? I mean, it's full of water now. Fingers crossed, eh? Well, that's the water on. No leaks. It's a good sign. Looking good so far. Right, we'll put some pressure through the hose now, because that's just mainline water pressure in there at the minute. So all the air's out anyway. What now? We're not plugged in. That's what's now. Right. Try again. Oh, second leak. What happens when you don't tighten the pipe up? Because I haven't tightened that up, have I? No. Should be a relatively easy fix. Fitting's not tight either. Everything's difficult for yourself in the pursuit of trying to make it look tidy. But I suppose I'll not be doing this every day. You've slackened that off now. Right. Right. Try again. Looks more promising this time. Just having a look at this connection down here. But, I mean, there's full pressure in the hose there now. We've got no leaks from our pipe, from the pressure washer to the reel. And hose to the reel. Fitting looks dry there. And the fitting at the other end here, now we've tightened it up, is all nice and dry. I would say that is fairly successful. Now, pressure wise, feel maybe not quite, but there's not a lot of difference. Other than now I've got a lot more freedom of length, which was one of the main reasons why we've done this. And again, obviously pulling the pipe back there, you can see how it doesn't flick up at all like the old pipe does. And I mean, this ideally is all we'll do to reel it back in again. Well, the only thing I would, problem with this type of hoses and these type of lances, the hose cannot spin in it. So you've got to keep it unwound yourself. Now, I think I will probably replace this lance. You can get these ones with a quick coupler, which basically allows the hose to spin in the coupling to the lance. So when you pull it out, it'll never kind of twist itself. It'll just keep itself unraveled. But that's for another day. Right, I've had a bit of a kind of tidy up and a clean up of where the pressure washer sits, that sort of thing, just kind of how I'm going to keep it going forward. So I'll flip you around now and show you that. So as you can see, this is how I think we're going to keep it going forward. It looks as kind of neat and tidy as I can get it. And I think obviously we'll just keep, when it's not in use, I'll just keep the lance disconnected from the actual reel itself. Now I've obviously got the water connected up there, the hose here running down kind of sits in neat and tidy. Well, it's as tidy as I can kind of get it anyway, because there's a bit extra length on there. And I've got my little dual tap set up. So the last thing I need to get basically is just another hose to fit on here, and then I'll be able to basically get my bucket, you know, slide it in, just drop the hose in, turn that on, have a weight or something on the end of the hose, so when it's in the bucket, it'll obviously just fill up. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that's turned out. I definitely think it was the right idea, keeping all the connections and stuff on the back side. As you can see there, it just kind of works, you know, with the hose going down the pressure washer, keeps it against the wall. And the excess cable I've just got kind of tied up in there. So like I've said, I've owned this Karcher pressure washer for many years now. This is actually the second Karcher pressure washer I've owned. So that's 2 in my whole lifetime. The first one did kind of need replaced, we'll say. There was a couple of issues with it, but it was the kind of smallest, cheapest one in the range. Upgraded to this one, and it's been no problem whatsoever since, except for my pet hate the hose that comes with it, basically, which if you watch any of my other videos, it has cropped up once or twice in some of my other videos, that my dislike for that hose. But what we've done now, we've put that reel on, you know, that's kind of finished off the setup. Like I say, I might change the lance at some point in the future, but the one that comes with it works fine for now. Drop a comment down below if you've altered anything with your setup on your pressure washer, whether it be a Karcher or anything else. Would love to hear about it and what your thoughts are on them. But if you've liked this video, please give it a like, and for more of this sort of content, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.